we go. I remember how to do it. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. I'm Jeff, playing Delta Green tonight. If anyone's on the channel, thank you for joining us. If you're watching this later on VOD or on YouTube, thanks for watching it there. Definitely appreciate it. Got some new setups tonight. I'm still not used. I have like a new desk setup, so my head's like tilting all sorts of weird ways now. It's freaking me out. And Melissa's got headphones on. Everything's madness. Longley, I don't know. You look the same. So
I shaved a bit.
You shaved. Oh gosh. You shaved. You have to shave because as the Windows taskbar informs me, it's 114 degrees where we live. So you definitely have to do that. But yeah, Delta Green. We are playing Impossible Landscapes. We are in Chapter 2, which is a volume of Secret Faces subtitle. And we are dealing with the same four agents who started our little mystery back in 1995, but have moved 20 years into the future, to 2015, to continue with Chapter 2. We'll get into the full summary in a second. Before we do that, let me talk a little bit about other things we do here on the channel. We play on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays when we stream various role-playing games. On Fridays, you can catch Delta Green for the most part every week. Saturdays, you can catch us playing Worlds Without Number. And on Mondays, we alternate right now between Alien and Things from the Flood, though we have some new games coming down the pike later in the summer. So looking forward to that. Aside from that, you can find a few of us elsewhere. We sometimes play over in the Defenders of Cobalt. I play over on Garblight Games sometimes, and so you can kind of see us here and there as well. Yeah, let's do a quick intro to your characters. I don't know if we've done that recently, so just like walk us through who your character is really fast, and then I'll do the full summary while I get a few things set up. So, Ashley, you're first.
Hi, I'm playing Agent Chelsea. She is an intelligence analysis for the FBI. Her thing is computers, all that jazz. Her fun kind of thing was she was in a ghost hunting club, but she lost that relationship after the fallout of our first Delta Green mission. She also lost her relationship with her childhood BFF Addie, which that didn't really come into play too much in the first one. But currently I'm in jail. I rolled really terribly at talking to the police.
And you
And
didn't
I
run.
also personally don't know how to talk to
Yeah.
the police.
Yeah, we talked about that afterwards. I didn't really
I've never
mean to
once
trap
gotten
you.
in trouble. I thought we were just role playing, and
yeah.
then you're like, "Where's your attorney, Ashley?" And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I kind of felt bad afterwards. I'm like, I feel like Ashley forgot about that, but I feel like Chelsea might have. But at the same time, I feel like we could probably justify it with the fact that Chelsea has been going through some pretty crazy things, especially that night. Like, you hadn't slept. You had a weird fugue state. You had an experience that only you saw. Like, then you got arrested, and like everything was going crazy. So it makes sense that you were probably down some sand points. I think you probably failed a sand test or two, maybe all sorts of different things. So I feel like we can justify that you maybe made some hiccups here and there. But fortunately, it's possible that that good old album.
Die.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you have your backup character. You have your backup character, but album called for a lawyer for you. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that plays out.
I also called my Delta
boy.
Green contact. I got a slap on the wrist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. And then let's move it on over and talk to Long. Long, who is Vessel?
Yeah, so playing Agent Vessel. He's the soldier type, retired from the FBI, from the hostage rescue team. Now he's just a bar owner working on his drink making skills.
And you're bailing friends out of jail, get yourself out of
sorry, I
jail
was
free
typing.
card skills.
Hey, is there a signature drink at Miles Viles? Is there like a specific like cocktail, or is it just like a beer pub? Is it a brew pub?
No, we got some cocktails, and we'll say it's like a gin and tonic.
A gin and tonic. Whew. Okay, so you're basically serving people over the age of 65. Is that right? I always think of gin and tonic as old people drinks. I'm totally sorry that it's true, but I don't know. It's just something about gin and tonics. I always think of like older folks. Okay. You ever had gin? Well,
I believe I have.
ugh, God, I hate gin. But all right, fair enough. Vessel is like the only person. Actually, I guess you didn't get any sort of direct trouble, but you just kind of got blowback a little bit from Chelsea.
I'm on the radar a little bit now.
Yeah. I think everyone basically is on the radar now. It's going to be a little harder to do your jobs, but not impossible. Bottom row, we've got Album. Derek, who is Agent Album?
Yeah, so Album used to be a NASA employee in space communication and navigation, but after the fallout from the first chapter, kind of resigned from that position and is now a freelancer. And Album's super conspiracy theory. He's into that stuff. He lives off the grid as much as he can. Doesn't leave a presence or a trace in too many places if he can. Though he was arrested as well, but his was only for a misdemeanor, so he's got a nice little fine. But he is now in the system and will be dealing with that.
Indeed. Criminal mischief it was, as you threw a rock through the window of one of the neighbors of your new handler. Awesome. But you were trying to save Fawn. Like, you were trying to help Fawn out, and things just sort of,
against his better judgment.
It was a noble sacrifice in a way. And you did kind of help Fawn out, because Fawn, you actually got away fairly scot clean, right? I didn't think you really had any trouble. So who is Agent Fawn?
So Agent Fawn is playing the historian role. So she works for the National Park Service in the American Battlefield Restoration Project. I believe that Dr. Elias Barbas, or whatever his name is, called Delta Green to call a hit out on me because I went to his house. So that's what I think is happening in the background.
Oh,
I think
really?
He is plotting his revenge against me.
All right. Just going to write that down really quick.
Yeah, that's what I think is coming her way. She got a sleep disorder in chapter 1. Every time she tries to sleep, she has to do a sanity roll. And if she fails, she wakes repeatedly in terror and can't regain willpower, and that happened. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We reread the exhaustion rules.
Yeah, we did.
Last session and this session.
I like to every now and then just go back and read the rules of games we've been playing for months and just suddenly realize all of the things that we've been doing wrong. And so that's what the earlier today was like, oh, that's what exhaustion and sleeplessness does. So yeah, we hopefully did some stuff off here to catch up on that.
So I'm going in with 4 willpower tonight.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. How could that possibly go wrong? The only reason you got to worry about that willpower is if you want to like fail sanity tests and then have to push that willpower off. So you'll be okay. You'll be okay.
I'm creeping closer and closer to my next breaking point. So,
Yeah. All right. So let's just do a quick summary. Like I said, it's 20 years later. So chapter 1, if you've been following us from the very beginning of Impossible Landscapes, we started in 1995 in New York. We did a thing in the McAllister building. They blew up the building, and it was a sight to see. It was pretty great. And it was such a travesty of an ending that they didn't really work together for 20 more years. And finally they're brought together, and they're all invited to the same birthday party. And the birthday invitation they kind of all knew was a Delta Green activation. And they went to this restaurant where they ran into each other. They saw each other, not very happy in terms of reunions. And they met their new handler, one Agent Exeter. Kind of a strange dude. Smelled like motor oil. Had dirty fingernails and such. Had like a weird crinkling sound when he walked. And there's an air about him that was a little bit peculiar. You guys didn't really end on great circumstances. He described your job, which was to investigate 4 missing psychiatric patients from a place called the Dorchester House, which is nearby in Boston. And before you guys got into too much conversation, it got a little heated, and he just decided to bail. Fawn followed him back to his home. Then I think Album went and caught up with her, gave her some backup, while Chelsea and Vessel hung out at the restaurant and looked into some of the files and information that Exeter gave them. Got some files on these missing patients, got their names, did some basic background info on them. Most of it was really mundane, but there was like this one peculiar portion when you were kind of going back. I think it was Vessel specifically was going back through like a web page that had like information for one of the missing patients, and then Chelsea discovered that there was a line from a very strange play that just happened to show up on that page that wasn't there when you had checked it earlier in the evening. You guys left, went back to your hotels. Chelsea supposedly had some kind of weird encounter where a door appeared in her room and a figure stepped out, and she fired at the shadow. Vessel was called to come assist, and in the process of assisting, they tried to run away, but kind of got caught by the cops pretty much right off the bat, and spent the entire night getting grilled and investigated.
I almost drowned.
Yeah, Chelsea almost drowned. came up with a story about an ex-boyfriend named, what was it, Matthew Johnson, and
Yes.
that he was the one who shot the gun or something like that. You're not sure if the detective really bought any of that.
Yeah.
Vessel eventually
Oh,
got
I'm positive she did.
Vessel eventually got released, but Chelsea got brought to jail, and she's currently in jail, which is pretty crazy. Album and Fawn had some strange interactions as well. Fawn, there's some weird stuff going on. Do you remember the weird stuff that was going on around Exeter's home?
So there didn't seem to be any electricity that was connected to the house, but there were kind of random lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
There was a woman that was kind of like leaning out the window. Um, there were the car parts that were just kind of piling up
Mm-hmm.
outside.
Which I think you took some of. There was a weird machine sound when you and the cop stepped up to the front door to knock on the door. And like there was like shouting, and that went off. And then Exeter was dressed in some kind of ceremonial red robe, had burn marks on his wrists, but that seemed to back you up at least. It told you to get the hell out of here. And so you got out of there. Album, he got a little slap on the wrist, but eventually was released. And Vessel, Fawn, and Album reunited to go and head over to the Dorchester house to finally start the investigation, leaving Chelsea in jail to kind of deal with it her own. And the guys went and you talked to Dr. Dallin, who runs the house, runs the psychiatric facility. He gave you some basic background on the people. Nothing really stood out in any of the files, like the patient files at all. It was just sort of, fairly mundane. But they disappeared from the third floor of this psychiatric facility, but behind locked doors, supposedly strapped down. And there was a message about Abigail Wright having gone across the sea, written in blood on one of the walls, which is might be why you guys are here. And then the last thing is, Fawn, you saw something on your watch that you stole from Dr. Dallin's desk. Do you remember that?
Not off the top of my head. I will.
You-
There's like a
okay.
inscription in it.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and start it up
yeah.
though.
Lots of letters.
But since you don't remember, I'm gonna go ahead and start with Ashley then. Since Ashley, I know, remembers being in jail. So let me get some spooky music to freak out Ashley with. 1 second.
Thanks.
Let's see what kind of deal. Let's see. No, that one's a little too intense. Let's do this one. Okay. So, Ashley, you're not entirely sure what time it is. No clocks that you can see. But you've been here, and there's been other people that are in the holding cells with you here and there. And at a certain point, you're sure, like every now and then you probably fall asleep. You kind of doze off for maybe 15, 20 minutes. Someone bumps you. You hear the clink of a door. You hear somebody cough. You hear, whatever it might be. And eventually, a guard comes to the holding cell that you're in and doesn't say anything. Just walks right up to the cell. There's a few other people in there. None of them really seem to react as this guy walks up. He just kind of points at you, and you get the feeling that he wants you to come up to the. You see him just sort of pull open the door to your cell. Kind of holds it open, waiting for you.
Okay. I'll follow.
Okay. All right. So you step out, and the area, there's a couple different holding cells here where, they're grouping up multiple people. And we'll say there's maybe about, 6 or 7 people scattered about these 3 different holding cells. And you've seen some cops come and go. And you've seen some people come and go as they've made bail or they were just released. And this guy kind of grabs you fairly firmly by the arm, kind of right up, just above the elbow, and starts to escort you in the direction of the door that leads back into the station proper. At this point, I want you to go ahead and make a humint roll. And unfortunately, because you've had such a rough night, you're suffering a little bit from exhaustion. You're going to take a penalty to this. But I'll let that go. 52. Okay. There's a couple things. Do you have history? What's your history at, too?
My history is at 60.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's really good. So the first thing you notice about this guy is that he's somewhat kind of forgettable looking, in that he's very average build, average height, doesn't really have any kind of noticeable like scars or birthmarks. But one of the things that you notice first is that he's walking with something of a limp, like this kind of stiff-legged gait where he's just sort of swinging one leg around. The second thing you notice, and you probably kind of chide yourself a little bit for not making this be the first thing you notice, is that his uniform seems off. You look at it and you realize that it's sort of like a dress uniform. It's like this big old coat that's buttoned all the way down vertically, all the way up to the collar, and the coat extends over the belt area and down to his thighs. And that is strange because like all of the other cops that you've seen, if they tuck their shirts in, they have like the kind of the long sleeve. Some of them have short sleeve and they tuck them into the pants. This is the first time you haven't seen anybody who has like this kind of almost like an old-timey looking cop. And you don't notice until they grab you on the arm that they're wearing gloves, like white gloves. But it doesn't seem to say anything, and just escorts you up to the door. And you notice that he just sort of stands there waiting for a moment. And then at the last second just pulls you back against the wall as the door pushes open and you see someone escorting somebody else in. And so they're like moving past you guys. They don't even see you as you're half obscured by this door. And you can see that this new cop, who's dressed in normal clothes, like what you'd expect to see, what you saw some of the other troopers that you were dealing with last night in, walk past you, and it's like they don't even notice you guys are standing there. And as the door is closing, you see the hand that's not holding on to your arm reaches out, grabs it, holds the door open, and
Do I see a clock?
No, not at the moment. You do not. And he leads you out of the holding cell area, and you are suddenly hit with the sounds of conversation. You hear phones ringing. You hear people talking. Someone shouting next to one another. You hear a fax machine going off somewhere, and you can see the busyness of the Framingham police station as people kind of move about. And it's as you're standing in the hallway, about 6 or 7 feet away from what looks like some kind of water cooler. You can see that there's people there at the water getting drinks, but their backs are to you. And you can see that there is a woman off to the right at a desk who, just as she's about to turn her head up to look in your direction, the phone rings. And she turns back around, and now her shoulder's to you, and she doesn't see you, and she picks up the phone, and she gets on the phone. And it's this time you realize, like, this uniform is really out of date. Like, this is not a modern police uniform. Like, this is decades old. Like, this is like almost like a Halloween costume. But he stops, still holding onto your arm, about 2 or 3 feet after going through the door, and you can see him. He just kind of stares at it. He's got a hat on and like tight above his brow, so like the top parts of his face are shaded pretty well. You see a flickering of the light as it kind of goes off for a second. And then he takes 5 steps forward and turns you left down another hallway. And that's right as you're turning down the hallway, you can see the body language of the people by the water cooler getting ready to turn around towards you, but you manage to curve around, pass by some what look like bathrooms. And eventually he opens the door to an interrogation room. Kind of pushes you inside. It's dark. And he points down at like the table and a chair, and he holds one of his gloved fingers to his mouth, just like this. What do you do?
I don't know if this is like a Delta Green agent yet, but I'm gonna operate like it is, like somebody here to help me. So she'll sit down, or if he points for me to sit down, and she'll stay quiet.
Okay. So he then closes the door with you inside and him not. And it's dark in here. There's a little bit of light coming in from a window, but the window is barred, and it's that frosted glass. But you can tell it's daytime outside, but you're not getting a whole lot of light. There's one side of the wall is all mirror. It's just like, you can tell it's an interrogation room, pretty standard stuff.
Okay.
You look around and there's nothing in here. Like there's just sort of nothing in here. And at that, let's switch over.
Now that I'm high key stressed.
Well,
thank you.
actually, go ahead if you want. Roll a search test.
A search test.
Yeah, roll a search.
Success.
Okay. You look around. Oh, 18, really good.
Yeah.
And you were asking about a clock before. And this is the
Yeah.
first time you're actually able to get a good vision of one that is up on the wall above the mirror. And you look up and you can see that the time says 6:16. And as we zoom in on that, like that old fashioned, you know, the you see the minute hand, the hour hand,
Just
etc.
a plain white
Yeah.
clock.
We're going to cut over.
Standard office clock.
We're going to cut over into the Dorchester house, and we're going to see Fawn staring down at a wristwatch.
Yes.
This-
So on the face of it, there
Yeah.
are no numbers. So they're just letters that go around the face. And then there are a whole lot of letters. Because isn't it like ALONGTHE all around the face?
Along the shore.
Sorry, I realized I had my sound going through a different section, so let's do it. Yeah, so you're right, Vessel. Along the shore, the cloud waves break. Is the clear, kind of a clear message you see, and then it's either the twins U or the twin SU. You're not sure, and then it just stops.
The twin SU. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm going to show Album this.
So you're showing that to Alba, and we'll say Vessel, you and the head nurse, Samagina, you guys asked to be brought over to the missing patient's room, specifically the room that had the message that was painted in blood. And so you and her, she's like, let you inside. You notice as you guys are walking, you're on the 3rd floor of the Dorchester house. You notice that all the rooms are open, the doors are open, but you have been asked to stay with her. Like, we don't want you wandering, freely, because you never know how the patients might react, because during this time of day they're allowed to move about to some degree. And so you can see that all the doors are open. You can hear a TV kind of echoing down the hall somewhere, and you are in the room, and you can see along the wall, Vessel, it's that same image that you saw in the photograph when you sat down to first meet with Exeter. So I'll go ahead and share that with you if you've forgotten that. But it says, Abigail Wright has gone to sea, crossed the waves to rescue me. In a ship both tall and fine, she rounds the corner, marking time. And you can tell that it's looks like there's newspaper that has been ripped apart and sort of pasted onto the wall here and there. And it's this reddish brown, almost like it was been written in fingers. You can see kind of in somewhat inconsistent script.
Sure, I'll take my time, I guess, searching the room.
Okay.
I'm fine.
All right, roll a search. Meanwhile, Fawn, you show while Vessel is kind of occupying Nurse Samagina, and the two of them are looking about the room. Fawn shows you this watch.
Could I use my cryptology on this for any kind of extra information, since that's studying codes?
No, but I will say that cryptology wouldn't help you here. I would say that your cryptology is probably high enough to recognize that you don't think it's like a hidden message. It almost seems like a quote, like it's quoting something, but exactly what it's quoting is just beyond your knowledge at the moment.
Okay.
So, given that, can I just pull out a smartphone and search the language?
You don't have your phones.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
Oh,
Thank you
good
for
call.
reminding me of that.
Good call. We had to turn it in.
Yeah. You guys put your stuff in your locker. So your phones, tablets, if you had anything, guns, if you were carrying them, stuff like that. You're allowed to keep, if you had keys or wallets and stuff, you're welcome to keep those if you want. And then you were given like these little blue key cards that'll help only with like emergency based doors, but they're not like free reign. That's why the nurse is navigating about.
Okay. So I'll ask him if he recognizes it. I don't recognize it off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Would I make history to see if I do, or occult perhaps?
There's actually no roll. I don't think either of you
Okay.
would know this.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll look it
just
up
kind of shrug and say,
later.
Yeah. It's a little,
was
yeah.
In his
weird.
office, we'll see if he misses it while we're still here.
Yeah, the rest of the watch, I mean, other than that, the weird replacement of letters for the numbers on the watch. It's a Bulova model, pretty classic standard stuff. Nothing. I mean, it's nothing special in terms of the watch itself. The inscription, the engraving on the back is incomplete. Like it cuts off mid word. It's kind of peculiar.
I wonder if maybe there's a second watch that maybe finishes the quote. Maybe it starts on one and is paired with a different one.
So I'm going to say that the two of you are kind of out in the hall outside of the door, while Vessel and Samagina are inside the door. And so with a 19, Vessel, you look around and you can tell that there's like no personal effects in here. Like nothing. You can see that there's just really bare bones, blanket, pillows, slippers, stuff like that. You can see that when you're looking with a 19, you can very clearly see that there are the signs, like these beds have restraints. They have pretty firm restraints, and you start kind of tugging on them a bit, and you're confident that if you were in these, there's no way you're getting out of them. Like they're really, really tight. They can be firm. The beds are bolted down into the floors themselves. But you don't see any actual, anything to suggest like decoration. The Temple of Art. I like it. It's good.
Wait, so Fawn and I can we see into the room?
Yeah,
Or
you guys
Vessel,
are just
can we-
standing. I'm just saying, like you're
Oh,
looking into the
okay.
room while Vessel
so
is
we can
inside
see-
the room.
We can see that quote on the wall.
Yeah.
So then Alban would look at the watch, and then he would look at the last line. It says marking time. Maybe he'd just point to the watch that Fawn's holding and say, "Wouldn't those go together? Mark time." And then it says along the shore of the cloud waves break, the twin something. There's got to be another item.
Yeah, maybe while we're looking here, we should try to find.
So
Alban's like, I feel like I'm in an escape room.
So while you guys are out there in the hallway, you notice that there's somebody looking at you in the hallway. You see this guy, young dude, maybe early 20s, something like that. Just maybe 15 feet from you, leaning up against the wall near another open door. And he's tall, kind of hunched over, kind of skinny. And he's got like these hospital pajamas on and these what looks like really generic deck shoes without any threads in them. You get the feeling this guy is clearly a patient, and he's got this small little, like kind of beaten up brown leather book, and this what looks like one of those big like elementary school pencils, and he's just writing in it, and he kind of keeps looking up at you guys and writing. And she's just staring you down.
Hey there, how's your day going?
And he kind of like bolts a little bit, kind of just a little bit, ever so slightly, as you kind of look at him and say something to him, and then as you talk, he starts to move towards you, and he says, "Hello."
Hi.
So you're looking into the missing ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. What agency are you with?
The topest of top secret.
Do you have badges, identification?
Had to leave him at the door when we came in.
Okay. And your name is Agent. He's like, as he's waiting to write it down. Agent.
Deer.
Agent Deer.
Mhm.
Okay, is that like the animal?
Mhm.
Okay, Agent Deer. And you sir?
Album will just say Azul, Azul.
AZUL. Roll a luck test for me. Top. So look at. If you look at your character sheet at the top. Okay, yeah. He doesn't notice the reference. Like, so he's just okay. All right. Okay. So yeah. I mean, what do you want to ask me? Just ask me anything. Like, I've got eyes and ears all over. I can.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm
Album
your guy.
will be like, Album will be like, and what agency are you with?
Me? Oh no. I'm just a patient here. Yeah. Ed. You can call me Ed. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
What eyes and ears do you have, Ed?
Oh, just little agents or two. I knew them a little bit, kind of, sort of. A little bit. But yeah. But I just here to help. That's what I'm doing. What can I do? What do you want to know? They just.
Do you have any clues about that saying up there on the wall?
Oh yeah. No. Don't know about that. No. But they just. They just. Poof. Not crazy. Oh wait, sorry, nurse. That's not a word we're supposed to use. Sorry, it's not crazy.
It's okay.
It's strange. Oh,
We'll
is
let
that
it
one
slide.
okay? And she's just kind of looking at him with sort of like a motherly looking face, just like, you're embarrassing me.
Have you been taking a lot of notes?
Oh yeah. I just I like to keep tabs.
I mean, I know a notebook is very important when you're doing an investigation. Would it be okay if I took a look through yours?
No, I'm sorry. No, this is mine.
Understand.
But I can answer questions if you want me to answer questions. Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
So which of them did you know best?
I knew them all pretty equally. I watch TV sometimes. Law and Order, things like that.
So Ed, what do you think? What's your theory on this? What do you think happened?
Oh, I'm just following the evidence, collecting evidence right now. Don't want to get too locked down in one theory. You guys know, right? You guys know. What agency did you
evidence
say
do
you were working with again, sir?
Top secret. Can't
Top
tell
secret. The FBI? FBI?
Can't-
Should I
can't
put you
answer
down
that.
for FBI, ma'am? FBI?
I mean, you can write down whatever you want.
Okay,
It's top secret.
just for posterity. Both of you roll luck tests.
Success.
Did you also succeed, Album?
Hey, I got a 37. So if it's below 50, yes.
As you guys are talking, yeah, it is. It's
Okay.
1 to 50 is success on a luck unless I alter it for some reason. Both of you recognize this face. You're like, you think you know who this is. You recognize this young guy, but you remember him from the news. He's his specifically. You remember his crime. I would say you only vaguely remember it, Album, because especially since you probably are a little bit unplugged. But Fawn, you remember it way more vividly. He's Ed Myler West, or I mean, some people call him by his crime name, which was the Poor Little Rich Boy Murders.
Okay.
Oh boy, it's a gong.
Sorry.
Yeah, you guys know that, and I would say Fawn, you would know that when he was 16, and this is all over the news. He killed his father. He killed his mother. So he killed his father, Thomas Weist, killed his mother, Wendy Gleason, and killed his sister, who was slightly older than him, with a shotgun on his birthday. And when he was like questioned why he did it, he said because they were wearing masks and laughing at him. So it's kind of strange to see him here, because you know that crime took place in California.
So Ed, how long have you been here?
I've been here for a while, working through my issues and things. Yeah, so are you special agents?
I mean, I'd like to think we're special. Yeah, kind of.
Like officially. Like on your paychecks, does it say special agent?
I don't think
I just look
anyone's
at the
paycheck
number on
says
my
that.
paycheck.
He kind of laughs. He's like, huh, that's good. I like that. Yeah. You also know that this guy is like loaded. Tons of money. Meanwhile, inside the room, Vessel, what are you doing?
Would you say that search is like give me a general search, or being more specific wouldn't really do anything?
What's it you're looking for? I mean, I can tell you if there's something specific that I didn't mention that you're looking for. I think your search would probably result in it.
More of like evidence of movement.
Oh,
I guess.
okay. Yeah, and with a success, I can tell you that you see some, there's some scrapes here and there on the ground. But with your success, you can tell none of it looks like recent, and there's some old stuff here. There's some old stains here and there. It's like this, it's clean, it's well kept. Like the room's well kept. I'm not trying to say it looks like a crap hole or anything like that, but it definitely looks like it's been, like some of the damage you see is likely from maybe a bed being moved or something like that, or unbolted, or maybe there was a scuffle at some point. But it doesn't look like anything recent. And outside of the message written on the wall, it doesn't there's no signs of blood or anything like that. She turns to you, and while the other two are talking to Weist outside, she says, Dr. Talon said that you wanted to see the security room. Is that correct?
Yeah, something album.
I can. It's. We keep that up here. I can take you right down the hall to it. If you want to stop there next.
Yeah, is she saying that's a Vessel?
She's saying it's a Vessel. You guys are kind of talking.
Okay,
to
cool.
The
Yeah,
patient.
Yeah, I'll just pick him up along the way. Yeah. We can
Okay.
go by.
And so you guys exit that room, and we're gonna go ahead and switch back over to Agent Chelsea. Agent Chelsea, you've been in this room for hard to say how long, in the dark. And you hear voices, you occasionally see shadows moving about through the frosted glass. There's a window in the door, and you can see interrogation room 3, backwards, the lettering on it. You look up at the clock and you realize the clock hasn't moved, so you can't even tell the time.
Oh.
So it looks like it's dead. It's not moving for some reason.
It's just there for looks.
Yeah. At a certain point, you hear the door handle begin to shake a bit. You see a shadow through the glass, and it's kind of turning and shaking, and it's like slamming the door. I need to roll a sanity test. You start to have these tiny little flashbacks. Okay.
Great success, Jeff.
And you're able to kind of push that down, take a couple deep breaths, find your center, do your mindfulness exercise, and the door opens up. And you can see that standing in the door is a man, Caucasian, probably early 40s, maybe late 30s. He's wearing a really cheap suit. He's got this big old briefcase that he's trying to balance, and he's eating the last of what looks like a hot dog. And he's got a napkin. He's got you can see that there's a smudge of mustard stain on the collar. He kind of crumples up the napkin and is looking around for a place to toss it. And he looks up, he sees you, and he says, "Oh, it's you. Okay. What?" And he closes the door, and he comes and he sits down right across from you at the table.
He just says, "What?"
Mm-hmm. He just kind of looks at you. And
who are you?
And you just hear him just do the most exasperated sigh, What is it?
Can I do a human roll or something, or I don't know?
What are you trying to determine?
Is he a Delta Green agent? What is this?
I would say there's not enough to go on yet. Even a human int might give you a little bit. Go ahead and roll human. You can go ahead and roll it. It's fine.
Oh, that's a failure.
Yeah, hard. He just looks like. I mean, as far as maybe a public defender, you're not sure. He looks just like a schmuck kind of,
Oh God.
He's
great.
talking to you. He's got like a little bit of like mustard in the side of his mouth, and he breathes again, like sighs, like, "What?"
What? What do you want to know?
And he puts his hand down, and he just kind of like starts to massage his temples a little bit, and he's just like, "Why am I here?"
I shot a gun in a hotel.
Okay. And then he turns this big old briefcase around so that the buckles are facing him, and so the back hinges are facing you. You hear him clip, puts it up so you can no longer see his face. You hear him rummaging around in it. He's like, okay. And then he starts pulling some stuff out. You see him first, he pulls out what looks like a file folder. Just basic kind of manila coloring. And he pulls out what looks like an evidence bag. And then he closes it. Snap. And then he slides both the file folder and the evidence bag across the table to you. Sighs again, really heavily. Pushes his chair back. You hear the screech of the metal on like the concrete flooring, like the polished concrete floor. And gets up and leaves.
Okay.
And you have a file folder in front of you, and you have a bag of evidence.
Okay. Can I peek in the file? I presume it's my file.
Okay. You want to open the file folder? Are you sure?
But careful. I don't want fingerprints on it.
When can we play? We're playing Delta Green. Oh, well, what game is this guy playing? Sorry, I misunderstood the question. Don't mind me.
Just open the
This
folder and it
guy's
says
just
look
messing with
behind
my
you.
head.
Okay. So you open the folder, and you can see that there's a couple different things in here. Actually, you start flipping through it. Looks like some photocopies, some stuff. You see that like there's a receipt in here to the hotel that you were staying at. What did we say? It was a Best Western, I think.
Yeah.
And you're kind of looking at it. It's a copy. It's like on a full page, but it's just a copy of the receipt. It's got the date that you purchased it. It's got your credit card number. And as you look at it, you realize that, all that matches up. It's got your signature. And you realize that like it's one of those really long receipts, and it's kind of got some invoice stuff, and you realize like the room number that's on this receipt doesn't match the room number you were in.
Oh,
which is
okay.
a little peculiar. You kind of keep going through this a little bit, and you notice that there is like a whole stack of like arrest reports. And at the very top is like there's like a top report summary. And you see, I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you now.
Oh, you made a file for this?
Did I do something? What? You see like the top summary of a report, a criminal record report for someone by the name of Matthew Virgil Johnson. And you can see that it's like this guy who's probably in his 50s, maybe early 60s, white dude, kind of grayish hair, bunch of different charges, bunch of different arrests, convictions. You can see that he's got a couple outstanding warrants, one for aggravated assault, one for stalking, one for impersonating a peace officer. And these outstanding warrants are from Kentucky and Virginia. And then you start going through some of his other offenses. Looks like he had another aggravated assault charge that he was convicted of, spent time in prison, harassment, burglary. Roll int times 5, and I'm going to give you a plus 20 on this.
Okay. 2
Okay.
success.
You recognize this guy. This guy is one of the arresting officers. He was the guy in the middle of the hallway who pointed a gun at you and Vessel last night. Told you to freeze, called backup, and more backup came.
Oh, jeez.
And then the last
Okay.
thing, and then you start going through, and there's like more detail in terms of like the arrests and where he did his time. A couple of years here, a couple of years there, a couple of months there, going back years, multiple cases of impersonating a peace officer. And then there's also a business card for the guy who you just had this weird, bizarre meeting with, Alan B. Williams, attorney at law, and it's got a big old mustard smudge right on it. It's got a phone number. It's got an email address.
Okay.
And I need you to roll a sand test.
Oh, is that a name that I've come across before?
No.
Jeffrey.
What? No, you haven't. I'm not lying. Jeffrey. Did you Jeffrey me?
Yeah, I did.
Just Jeffrey me?
Yes, she did.
Jeffrey. Okay. You're good. You pass, even with the penalty. All right. It's at this
I
point.
can handle the stress.
It's at this point you realize that the sound from outside in the station is much louder than it was a second ago, and it's when you realize the door is open.
Oh.
And you're looking out, and you can see just people moving about. We're going to go ahead and switch over.
Okay.
As the door opens up, as we move down the hallway, we see Vessel, Sam and Gina, they step out. Third floor of the Dorchester house. They see Album and Fawn, who are talking to this strange dude. And as you at Vessel, as you pass, you mentioned the album kind of turns and goes as well. Eventually Fawn, as you're the last to kind of follow in, like the duck goose thing that's going on here, as everyone's following the head nurse down the hall. This patient kind of reaches out and grabs you, but not like violently, just sort of grabs you on the wrist and just pushes something into like a little crumpled piece of paper into your hand.
I'm going to sneaky put it in my pocket.
And he says, "If you have any more questions, Special Agent Deer," and then disappears. Poof, right in front of you. No, just walks down the hallway and goes towards where the TV room is. So I'll go ahead and show you this. I have all sorts of stuff ready to go tonight.
Yeah, if no one is looking at me, then I will look at it.
Samagina seems to be, as she opens the door, they take you down a hall. You kind of go through a nursing station, a security station. There's a lot of unlocking and locking. You see like a little tip of the cap is like a couple workers. You pass by a couple other folks along the way. Pass by the TV room. You see there's a handful of folks in there as well. And eventually you are into the security room. You can see that there's it's not a very big room. So like you're kind of lingering out in the hallway while Samagina brings in Vessel and Album. And as you open this up, you see that the note's handwritten. Looks like it's torn from some kind of journal. I'll say roll an alertness test at -10.
I didn't add the -10,
That's fine.
but I failed anyway.
Okay. Yeah. You didn't get a good enough look at the pages of his book to see whether or not this is the same like pieces of paper. Like you suspect maybe it is, but you're not sure. But it says, "How did you find me? I thought you had left. In any case, they are still here at night."
Crap.
So while you're looking in at that, Vessel and Album, Samagina holds the door open for the two of you as she like kind of lets you guys funnel in ahead. And you can see that there's already somebody else in here. You can see there's a man who is sitting down at one of what looks like two seats. And you can see that there's several monitors in here. 16 screens, computer console. Looks like there's various fire controls for like fire suppression, locks, cameras, things like that. It looks like there's like a little locker off to the side. You can see the wires coming along the wall. You would guess, or maybe like recording some of the security cams. And the guy like spins around in his chair and stands up when you guys enter. And Samagina introduces. She's like, "This is Michael." And so I'll show you a picture. I got pictures of a lot of people, so I'm just going to start showing you some pictures. So I'll give you. This was the patient you were speaking with. And
okay,
then,
so that's Ed.
That's Ed Myler West. That's the poor little rich boy murderer.
Okay.
And then the guy who kind of gets out of his chair, he's got a beard, glasses, turns around, looks at you all, shakes your hands if you offer them. But he seems fairly friendly. He says, "Yeah, whatever you need, whatever you need." But it's kind of a cramped room, so there's like not a ton of room to move around. What do you guys want to do?
Album will say, do we have a separate, I guess, collection of evidence for the missing individuals that's already sorted?
What do you mean by a separate collection of what are you saying?
Just like what I need, any tapes, any records of just their movement or what they've been up to that I don't have to sort out from just day-to-day
Right.
stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. So we've got some file. Yeah, I've got those tabbed out for you. And you guys see him wince a little bit. He's like, "Yeah, let me go ahead and pull them up." And he spins back around, and you see him starts hitting the terminal a little bit. And he starts bringing up some files. Like, "Yeah, you can right over here on this one, this monitor right here." And he points to one of them, and you can see that it shifts from like a live view of one section of the Dorchester house, and it looks like he's playing back some sort of video, and you can see that it just kind of goes into snow white static, just kind of flickering. The screen just starts to get bent and busted. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm not a tech guy or anything. I just sit in the chair and watch, and I do hands in hands, but something's up. I don't know. It's just they don't. Something's wrong with the recordings. I don't really know." And you can see he's sort of wincing because he feels like he's about to get yelled at. He's like.
Album will just look at him and say, "Do you have the owner's manual for the camera systems so I can see if it's some kind of glitch?"
Sure, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, sure. And then he gets underneath the terminal, and he kind of goes through a cabinet, and he pulls it out, and you see this binder, 3-ring binder. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, knock yourself out, boss. Yeah. Listen, I mean,
do you have another computer that's got internet access I can use?
Yeah, you can use this one right here. I got it. It's fine. I can go ahead. Take my seat. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah, I can stand up.
So Album's just gonna kind of look up the camera model, see what the most common issues are, to see if it's actually a computer glitch or if this is beyond that.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll computer science. While he's doing that, Vessel, what are you doing?
Yeah, last time he knows of any visitors that came by a week or two prior.
Visitors. I'm guessing Gail can probably help you out more down by the front desk, like the sign in, the check in, check out things. But I can tell you with certainty they don't get visitors. And they didn't have any that night either. I was on duty. It was a quiet night. No one in or out. Everyone in bed. Locked down like normal. That kind of thing. Dinner and then bed. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not. I'm not in trouble or anything, am I? And the nurse is like, "No, you're not in trouble, Michael. You're fine. We know you didn't do anything. It's fine. Just answer their questions. They're just trying to help. It's okay. We gotta find them. We don't want anything bad to happen to them. We know how our patients think. They can self-harm and everything." And he's like, yeah, absolutely.
What kind of doors can you control from here?
Basically the whole place, if you've got the right the right access and such. And no, patients are not allowed in here, obviously. And we got to have the right key card, and he kind of holds up his, and you can see that it's different than yours. It's got to be keyed appropriately. Locks from the inside, deadbolt and everything. So in case of like a riot, they ain't getting in here, But there's only a few of us that come in here, But it's one of my posts.
How many of you exactly?
Oh God, there's like I don't know. 20 something of us who work here, and I would say of those maybe 5. I think Bryce was working the day shift before me. I think that day, and you can see that the head nurse is like, yeah, it was Bryce. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they still coming in, anyone left after they disappeared?
No, he's I saw him this morning. Yeah, he's all sweaty. Yeah, he's one of the gym guys, gym rats. Always carrying around his gym bag. Wants to talk about his reps or something. Yeah, but I think he might even be. I'm not sure when he gets off. We're not on the exact same, So he's probably on patient duty today, to be honest.
You say you watch him while the cameras are active, right? Do you remember at all you saw that day?
Sure. Yeah. No. I mean, I've been racking my brain. Ever since this happened, since they disappeared. We've. I feel awful, but I gotta tell you, there was nothing. Officer, agent, whatever. But no. There was nothing. It was just. It was a normal night. They were watching some TV early in the day. And then we got the call for food. Third floor patients, they only eat up here in the pokey and everything. And then, everyone else eats down in the cafeteria, but they got to earn those privileges. And so they up here, so we were serving the meals like usual. And everything was fine. We did lights out. We did bed check. We did strap down. I even looked at a few of the rooms. I can't say I went through all 4 of them. But definitely at least 2, Cal, for sure, Kim probably, and they didn't have anything, you work here long enough, where they try to hide things, there's only so many places, but there's no, the doors weren't busted open, the windows weren't busted open, there's, even if they got out of the straps, which they didn't because the straps are intact. I don't know, man. I don't know.
So Fawn will jump in and say, so I see that the camera system kind of went on the fritz, but do you still have keycard records?
Yeah, we do. We do have keycard. That's a really good question. Yeah. And he excuse me, sir, and he kind of tries to get underneath album, and he starts pulling out like another binder, and he starts flipping through the yeah right here. Printouts, we got it saved, but like these are the printouts, and he kind of shows you the night of their disappearance, and he's just, there's no abnormal activity, no activity on the floor outside of myself, Dr. Dallin, obviously, Nurse Samagina briefly before she went off the night. So, and then once they go down, unless there's something, we don't go into the rooms, like they sleep. Sleep is important for them. Most of these, they're on some sort of sedative anyway, and so when they go out, it's not like they wake up in the middle of the night and they need like a cookie or like some warm milk or something.
Would you mind if I just flip through that myself?
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. Here you go. Yeah, no problem.
So I want to first verify what he said, but then I also want to look like a week before and week after, just to see if I can start to see a pattern.
Sure.
Of kind of who tends to key in what area.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you notice that the people who are most frequently keyed up here are Dr. Dallin, head nurse Samagina, the guy you're speaking to, Michael Devon. There's another orderly as well. He mentioned Bryce. You see that guy's key card pops up every now and then. You see infrequently is Gail Houston, who is the woman who you met at the front desk who brought you up to Dr. Dallin's office. And you also notice there's another, probably the next one that happens most commonly is Nurse Ulrika Vors. And those are the ones that pop up most regularly. And
Okay.
you see a very clear pattern. Like it's incredibly clear. It's like it's literally like clockwork. Like you can set your watch by it.
Okay. And so I'm not seeing any deviations in that.
Nope. I'm gonna go back over to Album. How did your computer science roll go?
I failed it, but
Okay.
would it technically be electronic security systems for if I try another one later?
Yeah, you've got that one. We got that one special ability for you, right? That we did. Yeah, we can apply that. Yeah,
I wasn't.
You can roll that.
Okay.
Yeah, roll that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that one succeeded.
Okay. All right. So, from what you can tell, incredibly common disk error seems to be the culprit, and that disk error caused like a cascade of other glitches that cause like the automated backup system to not properly update. So like there's like gaps here and there, and then the bits and pieces that you do have, it just looks like it wrote improperly when it was trying to do the automatic backup. But looking at the like kind of the error messages and such, pretty common.
Is there, would that be where I could make a computer science roll to see if there's a way that I could, or maybe even somewhere I could take the footage to get it as uncorrupted or as put together as it could be?
You know, you think it's more of an issue of it didn't write, like it actually didn't write onto and that's why like you have these big gaps of just nothing. And then there's other moments here and there, like earlier in the day, where it's kind of like squiggly and like kind of on the fritz. But the key moments of when they disappeared, it's just like, it's like empty.
Okay. Album will just look at Michael and say, how often does this happen where you lose footage or it statics out like this?
It happens sometimes. I feel awful that yeah, this is going to be a problem. I don't want to cause an issue for the Dorchester. It's happened before, but not very often. Never on a night this important,
And Album,
Can you show us when it happened before?
Human skills. It's just like, yep, it only takes one time.
Our records don't go back that far. We only keep them like around 2 weeks or so, and then we kind of get rid. There's a limited storage space, unfortunately.
Sure. Do you mind if I just kind of take a look at other times?
Yeah. Knock yourself out, and he'll kind of like walk you through how the controls work. And while you're doing that, we'll switch over back to the Framingham police station, where Chelsea, you've been given a file. It's got all sorts of information about a Matthew Virgil Johnson, who looks exactly like one of the arresting officers. And you notice that the addresses of his past residences, boy, it's like your neighbors. It's like you two could have been living next to each other. I mean, that's how close it is. It's kind of eerie.
Gross.
When you look at the evidence bag, you realize that there's your wallet, there's your keys, and like a pack of gum maybe or whatever you might have. You don't see your gun, and you see your cell phone.
And you said the door is open?
Door's wide open. You can hear people talking like crazy. Like you get like phones ringing. Yeah. It's down the hall. You're like, you're down a separate hall or anything, but you can hear the voices and everything. You see some people walk by here and there. No one really looks over towards you and pays you any attention.
I'll take my stuff then and move to leave.
Okay. All right. Get out, and you try to like kind of get your bearings a little bit. Mm-hmm. Left, right, etc. Hang a left, pass by those bathrooms again. You come by the water, that kind of like that water cooler area. Roll an alertness test.
Failure.
Okay.
Especially with the -20 penalty.
Okay. You see the detective that was interrogating you, speaking to what looks like a uniformed trooper, and you can't, like, you feel like if you take a couple more steps, you might be able to hear her, but you're like, you see somebody else who kind of cross past, and like their eyes almost come up to meet yours, but then they just sort of look past you down the hallway, and they kind of wave, and you realize like they're waving to somebody behind you, and like the two of them start talking, and you're like, this is a little kind of creepy, but they're talking, and they're talking with like they're angry, like they're mad, and she's like flipping out for some reason. But what you do notice is that you notice your guard friend on the other side of this sort of the main work area, the main bullpen. You see all these different, not cubicles, but you can see their floating desks here and there. Some of them have suspects that are sitting in chairs right next to them doing some kind of interview with a cop. Others are standing over near, looks like filing cabinets, going through some things here and there. There's a few offices, what looks like lieutenant's office and things like that, conference room, etc. Once again, you just get this weird feeling, like you take a couple steps forward, and right as you do, like you see a woman who looks like she's turning around to say something to you, and then her phone rings, and she just swings right back. She's like, "Oh, Framingham office. This is June speaking," and like, it's like, she just doesn't pay attention. But you watch the guard as he just kind of fixes his cap, and then with that sweeping leg, that kind of straight leg gait, where he just kind of sweeps it around. You see him leave through the main door into like you see him kind of go around, and then you see through. There's like one door, it's like a swing door that goes from like the waiting area in the front around like the check-in area, let's say, it's not the right phrase, like the sergeant's desk basically, and you can kind of see through it, and you can see he's going right for the door to leave the station.
Okay. I'm going to follow him.
Okay.
But as Melissa suggested, I'm gonna see if I can catch a glimpse of myself in like a reflection somewhere.
That was easy enough to do when you're in the interrogation office. You look like shit. You look tired.
Yeah.
Your hair's crazy.
Like I've been away.
Oh yeah. You look terrible. Look like you've your complexion's awful. But you are you.
I thought it was weird that everyone was like looking past you, and I was like, just look in a mirror just to see.
Yeah. You were in a room by yourself for a really long time.
Yeah.
Okay, and you failed your alertness, right? Yeah, you failed your alertness.
Yeah,
okay.
I did.
All right, so yeah, you follow. As you get right up to the swing door, somebody swings it open, and like you manage to just accidentally like hide behind it. They walk past, you grab it, and you're able to leave. You get outside, you look around, and you can see on the other side of the parking lot, a ways away, you catch sight of your hero, the sweeping gait. He's got the hat on, and you see him open up the door to what looks like a cruiser vehicle, and you get inside. But when you take a look, it's like, wait, what am I looking at here? And the car looks strange. What's your history at?
60.
Roll it. Okay.
Success.
I don't know if you're a car person, but you recognize the model. Like, this is a Chevrolet Bel Air. This is an old school car. Like this is like literally classic model auction type car, but it's painted black and white. You see, like, it's got like a singular little light at the top. He backs out. He's ways away from you, and you see him just start driving. And he's picking up speed through the parking lot. You can see that there's a kind of a gate that's been wheeled open, and he goes right through it. There's a cross street here and there. You saw some traffic going, and he just doesn't stop for it. Doesn't make a left, doesn't make a right, just goes straight through it. Picking up speed, almost like he's going downhill. And he watches, he goes across 4 lanes of traffic and smashes right into a wall. We'll go ahead and switch over to the Dorchester house.
What?
I'm switching over to the Dorchester house. So you go through as much as you can. You guys spend a little time in here going through some files and things. And Fawn, you find you find one thing kind of curious, is you find other times in which these missing patients were on camera, but it's like every time they're on camera, you just never quite get a good look at them. And you realize the files didn't have like pictures either. You get like they're there, you see them, but like their faces are always just sort of just barely blocked by somebody else. Or like, you know, the lighting's not too great, so there's like a shadow cast over them, so you can never quite get a really good, clear picture of the patients.
Do I see anything weird happening at night? Kind of given the note that I just saw, like anything, like I'm looking specifically at nighttime.
No, the hallways are dead at night. Like completely and utterly dead. You look at the patient rooms, people are sleeping. Every now and then you see someone kind of thrash or move around awake, and you see someone come in and like they re-administer a different sedative and then they go back to sleep, and that's it. And that doesn't happen very often. And then
are there videos in their room after they've been gone?
Yeah, but that's the things that Album was trying to find and couldn't. They weren't there.
Okay.
So, Derek, you're going to say something.
Yeah, while we're kind of both like doing our individual searching, is Michael just like hanging out in the room with us, or is he like elsewhere?
Yeah, he's there. This is his post for now, and he's like, yeah, and he like every now and then he's like leaning over Fawn's shoulder, like, yeah, you want to do this, and he like points them to that. He's trying to be helpful.
I want to. So is he actively looking at? I'm sitting at his computer, right?
Yeah.
Is he like? Is the screen in his peripheral vision?
It's a very small room. It's a very
right,
small
but if he's
room.
helping Fawn, is he able to notice what I would be doing?
Probably not. Like if his attention is taken by her.
So Album is going to look for the data file that holds each proxy card's identification number, so he can copy that down for himself.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna need Vessel and Fawn to figure out some way to distract him, and I want you to basically explain to me how you're helping distract this guy, and then I'm gonna want like, you know, some sort of electronics or computer science roll from Album to see if you can successfully do it. So Fawn or Vessel want to pitch in on this and keep this guy distracted.
Yeah, I'll even like offer, see if he wants to like come with me outside to the rooms and like show me how doors and security works.
And when you start doing that, he looks over towards the nurse and she's like, I prefer if all of us were together, just in case. We don't want everyone kind of splitting up. So she nixes the idea of like letting you split off with the two of you on your own. But that does get his head turned, so he's not paying attention to the computer at the time.
Room, or just these screens?
Just the screens, just the computer terminal, a couple cabinets that he's gone through at this point and given you guys a bunch of different binders and things.
So Fawn will speak up, seeing that didn't work. And Fawn's going to say, like, you guys didn't mention that you've got a celebrity here.
Oh, so what do you mean? Yeah. Poor little rich boy. Yeah. We got. I'm not really permitted to talk about the patients too much, but yeah, he's here.
I remember that being all over the news. So I'm going to try to engage them and like kind of just superficially, like how crazy it was. It was on the news, and you know, all of that stuff.
And you're literally just doing conversation and trying to like.
Yeah.
Get them to pay attention that way. Roll charisma times 5. Let's see how much of a conversationalist you are. Okay. Even with a 10% penalty.
I didn't include a 10%.
You're still good. 62 under 65.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You're still good.
Okay.
And like, and that engages him. Even the head nurse kind of gets into the conversation from time to time. And like, and she's like, you know, Ed is doing quite well. You know, and you know, every now and then, like, yeah, he's doing all right. You know, he's always scribbling in that book of his. You know, he's very, yeah, he pays attention a lot. Definitely, he's a bit of a hawk guy. You know, eagle eye, whatever the phrase is. And he's just always like kind of looking over your shoulder and stuff. he's he hangs out with Timmy a lot too. Not thick as thieves. I don't know. It's a kind of a weird relationship, but it is what it is. But I don't know. I mean, like the guy's not very big. It's just I'm sort of amazed that the father just let a skinny little 16-year-old boy just get the jump on him like that. But hey, I guess you don't expect it, right? You don't expect it.
I guess. I mean, you guys it must be kind of a break for you to get like a kid in here. I mean, everybody else is all like law enforcement.
He ain't a kid. He ain't a kid. I mean, he's we got him. Oh, I don't know how long we've had him. And he looks over towards the nurse who's like kind of grimacing, like it's really outside the purview. But
I was really hoping he was gonna let that slip.
Yeah. Well, no. She's like that's kind of outside the purview. But if you insist that it's important to know, we haven't had him all that long, and he's doing pretty well, to be honest. Like he's a good kid. He's it's a shame what happened to him, and not everybody has all their wires connected up properly.
Not long, like a year? Or
Yeah.
Not long, like a couple weeks?
This is Jeff double checking.
Okay.
Um,
And I'm also going to ask about the Timmy connection too.
he's been here about a year.
Okay.
He's been on the 3rd floor the whole time. He hasn't earned privileges to move forward.
And you mentioned he hangs out with Timmy a lot?
Timothy Bale. Yeah, he's around here somewhere. 3rd floor.
Also 3rd floor?
Mm-hmm. I just asked if you do converse. I saw you talking with Ed, and it seemed like you were doing fine. That's great. Just nothing too excitable, nothing too aggressive, please. You never know what can set these guys off.
Oh no, we gave him fake names and didn't really say much of anything.
Go ahead and roll your computer science or electronics, whatever it is you want to roll. Album.
I heard the dice sound, but I don't see anything. So
I don't
I'm
see
not
it,
sure
so
what
just go ahead and
happened.
roll it again. We had a disconnect at some point from Foundry. It happens
Oh.
every now and then.
all right, let me just refresh because it's still not doing it.
I'd go ahead and give it a roll for you.
I just got back in.
Okay. All right. Yeah, go ahead. Vessel, is there anything else you want to do in this room?
No, I think I'm okay in here.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say you kind of step out and you look down the hallway, and as you're kind of near the head nurse, like there's like the 4 of you that are right by the doorway, Album still inside messing around in the terminal. She mentions Timothy and she points down the hall and she's like, "Oh, yeah, there he is, right there. There's Timmy." No, don't call him Timmy. Don't call him. And she looks at Michael and she's like, "Don't call him Timmy." Like right down there. See, right there with the red book.
I'll see if I can just walk down there. Is that okay?
Yeah, just stay where I can see you, please. That's all. Liabilities and everything. Sure. But yeah, you head down, and how'd you do on that roll for your... Oh my god, my notes thing is going...
I failed it by literally 1. So not good.
Alright.
So close.
You are unfortunately unable to get the serial numbers that you were asking for. By the time their conversation ends, he kind of turns around. You can tell that he's looking over your shoulder, and you quickly just try to do like one last, but you miss it, and it's too late. It's just like at this point, it's like, listen, I don't mean to interrupt, but I do need to get back to work, if that's okay, But again, if you need anything else, just let me know. I'm here for a couple more hours. My shift ends. I'm doing day shift today, so if you need anything, just let me know. I'm awfully... I feel terrible, I feel like it's it's my fault, but
In case we have any questions for you later in the week, what shifts are you working?
Mostly day shifts for the next. I'm just trying to think. Like, I think this week I'm days. I get Friday off, and then I think next week I got some night shifts. I have to double check my schedule, but yeah, I'll be on day shifts for tomorrow and Saturday, but Friday I got off. This is Wednesday right now.
Okay. Yes, Ashley, I saw that in chat. I definitely want to come back at night. I just haven't figured out a reason to. And maybe you could come with us.
So, Vessel, you walk down the hallway, and you see what looks like, this guy just kind of hanging out. I think I got some issues here trying to connect. Having some Foundry trouble here. 1 second. We clean a couple things up.
Yeah, so security cams are pretty much dead end, looks like.
Yeah, enough to show that something weird is going on, but I don't. Just not sure. So are you going to talk to Timmy while we're still in the room?
Yeah, just see if he's up for a conversation.
Him and his book.
Yeah, the whole scene with Chelsea was kind of crazy.
I want to know if the car exploded when it drove into the wall.
We'll find out when we turn back over to me.
Right?
You guys need to find some files you need to read or something that can't leave. And then be like, can we just post up in, like, this room?
Yeah, just strap me in the bed.
We're like character actors. Like, the way we do our investigations, you really need to know exactly what goes on. I don't think my sanity could handle that. I don't think my current SAN level would do very well. Down to 39 at the moment.
Sorry.
When's your next breaking?
Yeah, when's your next breaking point?
33.
Oh, that's like a roll or two.
I know.
I am having. There we go. Finally, I'm in. Sorry. All right. So, down the hall. You move down the hall there, Vessel, and you see the man that she is pointing you to. Looks like this. So, probably 30s, maybe young, not as young as Ed Myler was, a little bit older. He got kind of a crew cut. His little bit of kind of a fading haircut, like a receding hairline, some sort of graying temples a bit, less from age, more maybe from stress. He's got this big old woolen robe on, and you can kind of get the sense, like you kind of see here and there underneath some of the sleeves, and as he turns his head, you can see on his neck as well. He's got some tattoos here and there, but you can see, yeah, he's holding this this sort of fairly battered, wire-bound red notebook. And he's kind of shuffling about, kind of limping a little bit, like he's kind of favoring one of his legs. Yeah, he kind of looks up at you as you walk by. He's just kind of watching you.
Just say hi. How you doing today?
He says, I'm in a freaking loony bin, so, you know, could be better. How are you?
Not too bad.
First time?
Yeah, first time been in one of these.
He kind of laughs, saying, well, maybe it won't be your last, who knows?
See you holding a book. Is that something you read? Is it a journal?
Yeah, it's a journal. Part of my therapy or something.
What kind of things you read in it?
You know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Go ahead. What's your alertness at?
It's 80.
Your alertness is pretty big, and so you can see that he kind of closes it up when you get close, but you do see that there are some strange symbols inside of it. What's your occult?
20.
Roll occult plus 20, so you get to roll 40 or under for this.
Okay.
This is not your strong suit. 20 in occult's more than I thought Vessel had. That's pretty good. You might have to reload. I had to
have to reload. It's not going through.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing? What are Album and Fawn doing?
Fawn, would it be possible to go back in the room that we were in?
The security room?
No, the patient room.
Yeah, she's a little like, sure. Just make sure I can see you still. And so she's like in between, like one end of the hallway where she can see Vessel, and another end where like you kind of go in to into like the other patient room. But yeah, you go in.
I wanted to look at the newspapers that were used to write the message.
Okay. What are you looking for?
Dates, information, topics,
okay,
articles.
Roll a search, and I want you to use -10 for your exhaustion.
Okay. Oh, I got 34, so the pass.
34 will be a pass with a +20. While you don't necessarily recognize the specific symbols, you sure as hell recognize like the general design of them. Looks a hell of a lot like one of the symbols that you guys saw when you first entered into Abigail Wright's room. And when you ripped it off the window, weird stuff started happening out in the street. And in one of the books that Chelsea used to read, that kind of showed up while you guys were in the McAllister building, had some images in there as well. Boy, sure as hell looked a lot like some of those. But he closed it up too quick for you to get any real clear identifying, but you can tell that like the style's the same for sure. Like this kind of geometric pattern, like red ink, circles and triangles and kind of these weird lines here and there. Fawn, what'd you roll? You're gonna have to reload. You're gonna have to reload Foundry if you didn't already.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Okay,
so I don't have a roll yet.
Anything you want to do with that info?
Yeah. I think Ed has a journal too. Do you guys share?
Yeah. I mean, we're friendly, but we don't share. They're personal, man. Like it's a personal thing. I'm working through my issues here. I don't want to. I don't feel like it's his business to read mine or my business to read his.
So it's just something to keep to yourself. Nurses don't go over it.
No. This is for me. This is specifically. They said it was for me. So,
Maybe you'd want to share.
I mean,
I'd be willing to listen.
And if it's just doodles, man. They're just doodles. I just like to sketch. That's it. And he kind of like opens it up. He doesn't give it over to you, but he opens it up. Just kind of shows you a couple pages, confirming everything that you just saw. Like those are like demonic symbols. Like if that hydromantia and that stuff that you saw in Abigail Wright's room is accurate, and you're pretty sure it's accurate, you're like, man, I sure wish Chelsea was here right now. Like she would be perfect for this, but she's unfortunately not. And you're confident. Like you don't know which symbols or who or what. Like maybe Chelsea talked about it at some point in your brief convo, but you guys haven't really kept in touch over the years. It's not like you're bros, But yeah, you can see it. But they're nice drawings. But yeah, they I would say to the uninitiated, they just look like generic doodles. But to you, they take on a little bit more of a meaning, some meaning to them.
Those are pretty particular. Just some sort of meeting.
Just I don't know, man. I just it's like was it idle hands? Was it the phrase? I gotta stay busy. It quiets my mind. They say I got that PTSD thing, and sometimes my brain, gets ahead of me. So I just got to slow it down. I got to focus on something, and this is what I focus on. I know I'm not going to be like an artist or anything like that. I'm not some kind of like It's just a thing, man. That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. How about the missing guys? You know anything about them?
Yeah. I spoke with them. Yeah, I know them. Sure. Kind of looks around a little bit. Album, where are you?
Well, if he got kicked off the computer, I don't know. I guess he would just be leaving the security room.
Okay. Probably over by the head nurse. So, since you're kind of the only one next to him, he kind of leans in, and he's like, yeah, they're, looks around, makes sure it's just you and him, kind of just whispers to you. He's like, yeah, they're gone, because they don't exist yet. Yeah. Like right now, currently, they don't. It's okay. They'll be back soon. And he just kind of like claps you on the shoulder. It's like, yeah, you have a... Yeah. And he's very... he feels like he just shared something with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Meanwhile, over in the room, you're searching through the newspapers.
I failed.
You come across a headline. Something about a Germano-Prussian alliance of such and such. Some sort of, looks like tank rolling into a European city, like some sort of cobblestone thing, and skyline doesn't look quite right. Roll a sand as you start to have these flashbacks now, like you settle in a bit thinking about your time in Castaigne's apartment. Comes rolling back to you.
Nope.
All right. Go ahead and take 1 point of sanity damage. And you just like watch, and you can see that at some point it just crashes and smashes. Like in one of the pictures, you can see it just like smashes right through a building. Which will bring us over to the Framingham police station, where this old school 1950s police car just sped up out of the parking lot you're in, Chelsea, went through 4 lanes of traffic, clear into what looks like another parking lot on the other side of the street, and smashes headfirst into a wall. Doesn't seem to have hurt the wall much, but sure as hell seems to have hurt the car. As it just you can see smokes kind of erupting. A couple people are starting to like congregate around it at this point. Not many. There's like 3 or 4 people as they're kind of like getting close, and people got their phones out. They're kind of like, what the hell? What the hell is that? What the hell just happened? Da, 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 da. What are you doing, Chelsea? You're outside Framingham police station.
Is my car in the parking lot at all?
No.
Okay. I'm just gonna walk out.
Okay.
In a way.
Okay. So you walk out through that gate that's been pulled open, through which the car just sped and smashed into the wall. Yep. You're going to turn down the sidewalk, and you hear somebody like yell, like, what the fuck is this? Was this some kind of fucking joke? Someone's going to get hurt here. And like you look over, and there's like 2 or 3 people. They're like, they got the door open. Looks like they were trying to help the driver. And they're like, all like, what the fuck? And like, you see a bunch of them are taking pictures.
I'll get a little bit closer. I want to see if it's a marionette.
Okay. You like wait. You get to like a crosswalk, just 100 feet away. Cross, and you kind of peek over, and you can see that they have apparently pulled out from the driver's seat what looks like a marionette.
Oh shit!
In the exact same clothing as the guard that came to get you. Old school, in a dress uniform, straight down to the white gloves, the hat.
I'm gonna have nightmares. Okay.
You notice that there's all sorts of red fabric that's like in the seat, like really bright red fabric. And you should roll a sand test.
Oh shit.
Okay. You lose 1 point of sanity. Actually,
Ooh.
I'm sorry. You are at a minus 20 to your tests.
Oh shit, yeah.
Roll 1d4. You lose
One.
1 point of sanity from the
Okay.
from the unnatural. And you're just, what does this look like? As you're right now, you're peeking over like a fence into the other parking lot, and you can see there's maybe about 5 or 6 people. Like 3 of them have pulled this marionette, this person out, laying on the ground. You saw him get into this vehicle, speed through the parking lot, drive across 4 lanes of traffic, and smash into a wall in the opposite parking lot. What does this look like for you on this side of the road?
Okay, so considering that Vessel and I are the ones who found the other marionettes
Mm-hmm.
that got shot, and like the blood, whatever fabric.
Mhm.
I think Chelsea just kind of starts crying.
Okay. So as you're
And
sitting there
She's
crying,
not sobbing, but
Yeah.
she's got tears going down her face, and she maybe slips into her fugue state a little bit and starts walking.
okay, you bump past people here and there, as you kind of turn and you start sobbing, you see a handful of cops running across the street towards where the crash was, and you just turn around and you start walking. And then we'll say, who knows how much time passes, but by the time you kind of get your consciousness back, you're really kind of making these decisions, you feel incredibly dehydrated, you got a headache, you don't know when the last time you ate was. You look up, you can see that the sun is still in the sky, but it's definitely fading down. It's late afternoon, you would peg it. You have no idea where the hell you're at. You look around and there's like a commercial center. It looks like there's like a Taco Bell nearby. Like there's a handful of folks who are just kind of looking at you, and they're like, "Oh God!" as they walk past you.
Yeah.
What do you do? What does Chelsea do at this point? You still got the file on you. You've got your bag of stuff.
I think at this point, once I start to become like aware of myself again, I'm gonna call my last person that I've called. I'm gonna call Agent Vessel.
Okay. Roll a luck test.
Oh God. Okay. 66.
Okay. Unfortunately, you look at your phone. It looks like it's not charged.
Okay.
You look around, however, and you can see over by that Taco Bell there is a payphone.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'll wander over to the payphone.
Yeah, you go over the payphone. You punch in the number for Vessel, and it rings and rings. Vessel, do you have some kind of voicemail?
Yeah, there'll be a voicemail.
Okay.
Just a generic leave a message for, and then my name comes up. I have to say it. So
Yeah.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
So
Vessel or whatever.
is it Vessel? Yeah, if you just say Vessel.
Yeah.
Okay. Vessel is not in right now. But if you'd like to leave a message, please do so now.
And Chelsea does. She just rattles off like the 2 main cross streets of where she's at,
Mhm.
and just is like, I'm at the Taco Bell, and hangs up.
Okay. All right. So you hang up, and you kind of turn around. You step off like the sidewalk area into the parking lot, and you like bump into like this young kid who's just like kind of skating, and he's just like, "What the fuck are you doing? The fuck's wrong with you, crazy old woman? What the fuck?"
And like she's still crying at this point, and she's just wiping at her tears and just having a day. Sorry.
It's just kind of, yeah, you're having a day. Yeah, okay, sure. And he kind of looks behind you and looks at you, looks behind you, and then gets on his skateboard and skates away.
Oh God, what's behind me?
You turn around and you see that there's no phone there. You're standing in the drive-thru, and you We're just speaking directly into a drive-through machine. Meanwhile, back at the
No.
Dorchester house.
Oh God.
You also need to roll sand for that, by the way. Back in the
Oh,
Dorchester house.
Ashley.
Critical success, though, so you're good. You're good. All right, what do you guys want to do? You've spoken with this patient. You've looked at the security materials. What do you want to do?
So I guess Album's just going to take copies of the binders for the
Sure.
camera system, badging system, and electronic lock security system.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Can Fawn have a conversation with Album kind of out of earshot of the nurse and the orderly?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
She can still see you.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of tap him on the shoulder.
I just turn around holding 3 binders like I'm late for class. What?
So the guy that I was talking about slipped me a note, and I'll kind of show him the note.
That's interesting. Do we know this guy?
No, and it could be absolutely nothing, but given what happened before at night, I don't want to be here at night, but I think we should be here at night. I was thinking about maybe saying that we wanted to see the procedure, like the nighttime procedure firsthand. What do you think?
So after you say, I'm thinking that I want to stay here at night, Album just has like 1,000-yard stare and does not hear anything you say after that. So like you finish your sentence and I'm just like staring, like I'm just holding the 3 binders and just kind of like staring at like the baseboard on the wall.
So I'm gonna kind of kick your foot and try to.
And then Album's just gonna look at you and just say, I'm not staying here at night.
All right. Well, I feel like we should probably give it a try at some point.
It's at that point that the head nurse comes over. Doesn't look like she overheard anything, but she's just like, is there anywhere else you want to see? This is just the one floor. We have, a couple others. There's second floor, first floor. There's cafeteria, patient area.
Absolutely. We'll take the full tour.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Album will say, we'll ask the nurse real quick, were the missing people ever off of this floor?
No. Third floor, they hadn't quite moved up or down, so it might be second floor. Second floor is where we keep, most people are in the second floor for the longest. Not a whole lot of people stay up in the third floor for too long. We do have a few long timers, some longer than others. And she kind of like makes a face, and you can see her eyes just kind of like move off towards kind of a door down the hallway a little bit. But usually, if they're here for a little bit of time, they move down into the second floor and they stay there for a while. When it looks like they're getting ready to potentially release, we move down to the first floor and they can kind of visit with, family, friends, etc. Some of them even work in the cafeteria and they help us out. We have group therapy down there on the first floor and stuff. But third floor again is for like our really serious issues.
Album's gonna like kind of motion with the 3 binders and say like, I have a lot of reading to do, so I would just like to be escorted out of the building if they haven't left this floor. I've seen all I need for now.
Sure. Okay, yeah. And she's kind of looking around. One second, and then she steps over, and you can see she pulls she knocks on the window of like a nursing station, and they like pull open a thing and hand her a phone, and she gets on the phone, she says something, and you kind of overhear her. She's asking for somebody to come up, and she mentions Orderly Bryce, and you can see a few minutes later, elevators open up, goes through a couple of security doors, and you can see there's the guy that you've seen moving about before. He's kind of a buff dude. He's got this gym bag he's kind of carrying along with him, and he's kind of a Mimbo look to him. He's like, yeah, I can help you out. You wanna go? Yeah, I can. Sure.
Album will just like nod once and then just kind of like wait expectantly for
Okay.
to be let out.
And so, yeah, is anyone going with you? Vessel and Fawn, are you staying with Samagina for the rest of the tour, or are you leaving the building?
I'll stay with the rest of the tour.
Okay.
Not in a hurry.
All right. So, Album, you're escorted out of the building. And he's like, in the elevator, he's like, hey, you work out, man?
Album will just kind of like slowly look over, look down at his arm, and then just say no.
Okay. Right on. All right. Well, anyway, here we go. And you kind of go through the whole thing. You go back through the reverse process. You go over to where the lockers are. You get your stuff out. You give the key back over to the woman at the front desk, Gail Houston, who's like kind of waves. He escorts you all the way outside the building to the car. And did you all like come in different cars or something, man? Like,
I think we came in the same vehicle, right?
yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Album will just say no, but they can just, I'll send them a message and they can just
Yeah.
let me know when they need a ride. So I'll just
Right.
take the vehicle for now.
They shouldn't.
Oh, damn.
have- Okay. So you're leaving the grounds, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I was going to say I could, like, stay out and watch you or something, but that's fine. Okay. Yeah, man. Well, have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah. See ya. And he just kind of waits and watches and waits for you to back the car out and leave. You can just see this guy staring at you the whole time.
Yeah. Album will message both Vessel and Fawn and say, need the vehicle to do some research. Let me know when you need to be picked up, and then he'll drive away.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we don't even realize we've been abandoned.
You also don't have your phones.
I know.
You back
We
out.
have no
They're in the
idea.
lockers, yeah.
Album, roll an alertness test as you go to leave. Okay. All right. You look in the rear view mirror, and he's kind of carrying like the bag at one point, and he sort of sets it down, and he kind of like puts it back on his shoulder again. But it looks like he was almost like kind of looking down at it, like for a bit, like strangely, like just sort of staring at it. And then you see like some weird gesticulation of his hands, and he just puts it back on his shoulder, and then he goes back inside. You go up to the gate, get a wave from the security personnel. They open the gate for you, and you drive out. Okay. Vessel and Fawn. So the nurse is like, okay, yeah, we can just do the full tour. If you just want to do the full tour, sure. I can move you about and kind of show whatever you want.
Are we going to be walking by the door that she gestured to, kind of the long stay folks? I'm curious the like name on the door or anything.
Sure, we can go. Yeah, we'll do a quick sweep of the floor if you want. That's fine. Yeah. So, Vessel, you hurry up and catch. And like, is there anything else you wanted to say to Bale, to Timothy Bale, before you left?
No, I'm just
Okay. So
have a nice evening.
yeah, you too. But you too. Do you have any military experience, by the way, in your backstory?
Check for anything. No, I didn't write in military.
Okay. All right, so she's kind of leading you around. She's kind of showing you, walking through the process here and there, and a couple empty beds, a couple filled rooms and such. And you guys come to a room, and she's like, yeah, this one, he's been here for a really long time, unfortunately. Doesn't really talk much, a little catatonic here and there. We've had some progress with him sometimes. He actually made it down to the second floor for a while. But whatever it was, he just kind of relapsed a bit. And now he's been up here for, oh gosh, I don't know, 2 years now. It's a shame. The two of you peek inside. Both of you roll int times 5 rolls. You look at the name on the door.
Success.
Success.
Yeah, the name on the door. It's James Bison. You're like, I don't know who the hell that is. James, I have no idea. But you look in at who's laying there, and the guy's just laying on his back. He's got bare feet. He's wearing the same pajamas that Bale and Miller Weiss were wearing. He's staring, eyes open, straight up at the ceiling, arms folded on what looks like a fairly sunken chest area, breathing. And you can hear him breathing. He doesn't really talk, doesn't even acknowledge the fact that you all are like standing right in the doorway of his room. And you see he's probably older. Yeah, you peg him maybe in his 60s, maybe early 60s, late 50s. But there's something about him that kind of catches both of your eyes. Like you both kind of exchange a look with each other. You're just like, is that? And you realize as you're looking at like the contours of the beard, it's a little bit more disheveled than you last remember, but the same kind of piercing blue eyes, the same like crinkled forehead. Looks to be cleaner, healthier than when you last saw him. But you look at the older face of David Langford, the cable guy from the McAllister building in 1995. Hair is a little bit receding, and he's just kind of staring directly up. And the nurse is like, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he's actually spoken a word in a couple years now, since he's been up here. Brought him down to the second floor. He even got to hit the cafeteria from time to time. His brother visited him once. We were really kind of seeing encouraging movement from him. But yeah. Anyway, let's just keep going. We got some more folks, 2, and we got the first floor.
So if she starts to walk off,
Mhm.
Fawn is going to hang back just a second.
But she's keeping a very close eye on you.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got the sense that like you guys have not been able to leave her eyesight, her eye line, for more than like a second or two.
Wait, did I hear you correctly? You said his brother visited him once?
Yeah. A while back. He hasn't I don't think he's had any visitors in a few years now.
I thought wasn't his brother missing or something?
I think that was my brother you're thinking of.
Who did we did we talk to his brother?
Yeah, because that's where we heard the whole story about skipping alimony and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was the one who didn't believe that his brother actually skipped town.
We tried to get in touch with his kids at some point, but his ex-wives are not very forgiving.
So all the details she's giving match the story exactly, other than the name.
Sounds like it. Thank you for those bits, Twitch. Appreciate that. Very kind.
So I'm just going to kind of say out loud, like, oh, David. Like in his direction, in toward the room.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a good idea. I think you should consult the nurse about this first. Are we not supposed to be like triggering these patients?
I mean, she did say it.
Oh yeah, she said it, and I rolled it. So you see,
no, I said it.
His head slowly turn and kind of looks over at you guys, and he kind of blinks, and then he immediately begins to crawl backwards up against the wall, like freaking the hell out completely. The nurse turns around. She's like, "What did you say to him? What did you say to him? No, James, it's okay, James." And then she's like calling out. She's like, "Bryce, Michael, And you can see like people start running down at this point as he's like thrashing around, like smashing up against the wall. You see him go over to the window that's like barred and it's got like kind of wire mesh, and he's like, "Let me out! Just let me go! And she comes up right behind you. You can see she takes this syringe that like one of the other nurses who just ran up hands to her, and she just draws this thing and just comes up right behind him like, "It's okay, shh." And he's just like, "Just let me," and just collapses into the arms of this waiting orderly. She wheels around on you. What did you say to him?
I just said his name.
She looks at you. She looks at Vessel. Dr. Dallin said I'm supposed to pay attention to all of your requests and give you what you need. But my priority is the patients, ma'am. So if you would be so kind as to be careful what you say to them. Now,
Understood.
this way, please. And you can tell that there's like an iciness to her that just wasn't there a moment ago. Like you've kind of triggered something in her.
Oh, was this third floor again?
This is third floor still, and she leads you over to the elevator, and you go down to the second floor. Chelsea, you wait around for like 45 minutes around this Taco Bell area. Roll an alertness test.
The -20, it's 3.
Okay. All right. You wait around. Sun starts to go down some more. It's evening. Yeah, it's getting close. It's not quite, but maybe an hour left of sunlight. There's like a couple kids skating nearby, and like they keep kind of pointing at you and laughing here and there. Phone never rings. You never get, actually your phone's dead, so it's not going to ring. So you're just kind of wandering around a bit. More than once, you see a car go by on the street. A 57 Chevrolet Bel Air that just passes by, doesn't stop by you, just pulls up into normal traffic, hangs a right. Sometimes it hangs a left. Sometimes it stops at a red light. And then it goes out a distance.
Exeter's car?
It was not. Exeter was driving a 2010 Ford Escape.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's gonna freak me out.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll a sanity test.
Oh, goddamn it.
Don't worry. I was going to have you do it anyway. All right.
Fail.
Oh.
Take a point of sand. This point it's helplessness. Like you're all by yourself.
So
No one.
I've got 3 ticks of helplessness now.
And you're still success. You haven't hit your breaking point.
No.
Okay. And these are all ticks that happen in between the last time you hit your breaking point.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you'll.
The 2 were last.
Yeah.
Episode.
So you're going to be able to take on adapted to helplessness. We'll do that and start at the next. I think it's actually between sessions. So.
Okay.
But we'll double check that. That has both good things and bad things associated with it. What do you do? Like you've got your phone's not working. You know your cross streets. You keep seeing this freaking car move back and forth all over the place that you just saw wreck itself, and it was driven apparently by a marionette who had let you out of jail.
Oh, it's the same type of car that just wrecked itself, right?
1957
Oh,
Chevrolet
God.
Bel Air.
Okay. This is so stressful.
It's either that or it was like a Dodge Valiant, I think, were the two that were most frequently used in the 50s for cop cars.
So
My brief research today. Did a quick Google search.
am I anywhere close to that restaurant that we met at for the birthday party?
Roll a luck test.
Fail.
No. No. You have no idea where you're at, really, relative. You've never lived in Boston before. It's an old city, so it's not grid-based. It's winding, weird alleys, streets that don't seem to connect the way you think they're going to. Yeah, you're not sure where the hell you're at. You had a little bit of time where you in a fugue state, kind of. You're just sort of like wandered away, lost track of everything. You've got your wallet. You've got money. You've got you even got your hotel key in here. I don't know if you want to go back to your hotel.
I don't want to go back to the hotel.
You have your car keys.
Oh, my car's at the hotel.
Hmm?
Probably.
Mhm.
I don't want to go back there. So that
Car
car's
is dead to you.
Yeah. I mean, I need to get some sleep. I want to see if maybe there's like a different hotel
Okay.
like nearby.
Okay. I think you can find another hotel nearby. Sure. Absolutely. Okay.
Now I don't want to go.
What's the matter? No, I mean, I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. You head over and you find some. It's nicer in the sense that it's, it's definitely little different than the great, the Best Western doesn't have the same kind of modern commercialism like tacked all over it. You're struggling to find like a sign, but yeah, you go inside, you get a room. At this point, you don't really care. You're just gonna go in, you get a room.
Yeah.
And in you go.
Yep.
Album.
Great. Just smiling.
I'm always smiling. I'm a happy guy. Album. I get to play games with my friends. Are you kidding? That's great. Album. You get out of there. You got these things to go through. You leave. What are you doing?
Album's gonna stop by a Radio Shack.
Okay. All right. 2015. Were they still in business?
Yeah,
in 2015?
I've been doing my own research while you guys
Okay.
have been talking.
All right,
There's
fair
400
enough.
open in 2021, so I'm assuming in 2015 there's at least 2 in Boston currently. So
Okay, fair enough.
Got to be
fair enough.
3.
You go to a Radio Shack, one of the last radio. They're very happy to have your business. Oh,
Yeah.
wait. You want to come in here? Like not for the bathroom? Okay, yeah. Come in. Can we
Album's
sell you
going
a tiny robot that you're going to want to throw out in a week?
Album's going to buy the materials to make his own access cards. So he's going to need like antenna wiring, a microchip, and then just a credit card sized piece of plastic, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds fine. You're at a Radio Shack. I feel like they might have these supplies. And I think, yeah, easily enough, whatever they don't have here, you can find somewhere else. So we'll say you spend the rest of the afternoon as the sun goes down collecting these materials. No problem. Back inside the hospital. She takes you down to the second floor, Vessel and Fawn. She kind of shows you around. You can definitely tell this is much different than the third floor. The rooms actually look decorated. You run into a couple more patients here and there. None of them really seem to give you too much time. A couple people here and there stop and speak with you. No one really gives you the kind of strange like vibes that some of the other does. One woman, you can see that every now and then, like she's in her room, you can see she's messing around with like little pieces of origami, like she's kind of like folding stuff here and there. And you can see that she has like set up on her shelves because they seem like the nurse is explaining to you like how like, yeah, we they stay here for the longer period of time. So they tend to decorate. So we get them, they're allowed internet access. They can order some things. We get Amazon Prime and everything, et cetera. And, and they decorate. It's really about them building themselves back up, building their psyches back up, that they're members of, society again. Getting ready to move down into the first floor. And usually people, if they make it down to the first floor, they usually don't stay there for too long because we release them shortly thereafter. But you're kind of looking at her and she stares at you guys, but you get the feeling that she doesn't really want to talk to you. But you peek into a couple other patient rooms, and again, you just see like posters. They almost look like dorm rooms, like college dorm rooms where you just see a lot of like popular culture stuff on the walls, like albums and movie posters, and you can see like hang in there like with the cats and things like that. She takes you down
Someone
to
collecting Beanie Babies.
You do not see anyone collecting Beanie Babies, no. You go down to the first floor as well, and I'm gonna say like when you get into the elevator to go down to the first floor, you see another woman gets on, this blonde woman, and Nurse Samagina, who's been with you, she's like, oh, this here is Nurse Vors. She's one of the other nurses here. Very lovely woman, very capable. And she's like, you can see she's coughing a little bit, like she's constantly clearing her throat. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of coming down with something, little tickle in my throat. I've heard that you're going ahead and doing you're looking into the missing patient. I'm very glad to hear. Worry about them. It's eating away at me. It really is. But anyway, if there's anything you need help with, let me know. I'm about to check out for my shift. So, and then the elevator dings, doors open. You guys get out on the first floor, and she starts moving about, and you can see. She says her goodbyes, this new woman, Nurse Vors, and she starts to wander away, coughing a little bit here and there. At one point, she like kind of spits. It looks like into like a house, like one of those interior plants. Like she's struggling with like saliva or whatever. And you're moved about, like you're kind of taken around the main floor. You see, you've been here before. This is the way you came in. You can kind of see the administrative wing, and then there's like the different dorms. So she shows you to the dorms. The dorms themselves are very almost hotel room like you can tell that they're not like lived in for very long. They're very kind of, you know, they're very clean. Some of them don't have anyone in them, others do. She takes you over to the cafeteria. She shows you some of the rooms where like they do group therapy. You can see there's all these different like bulletin boards that have all sorts of different like flyers and like calendars and like motivational sayings and things like that.
Can I look at that a little bit more closely?
Sure.
The bulletin board?
Yeah, go ahead and roll search. Plus 20.
I'm horrible at searching.
Yeah, search is not a very important skill for investigators.
I mean, I fail it, but I've only gone up 6 since we started, so.
Okay.
So that's a straight. Yeah, I failed, no matter what calculations we're doing.
Okay. Looking through, like you see, it looks like there's like a room reservation calendar. Like there's references to group, and like there's like different letters like group A, group B, group C. Like there's different groups that meet. Then it looks like there's some other like miscellaneous activities they're taking up the rooms for. You notice a couple like, again, motivational posters here and there. What look like little like saved like calendar pull sheets that have like funny little comics here and there that are like both motivating and hilarious, you know, and funny. You notice that there's like there's one thing that kind of catches your eye. Like there's what looks like almost like a third party. You start going through like this little section of like third party like outpatient groups. There's like an AA poster here. Like there's like a small little like AA pamphlet here and there. A lot of them are recognizable. Like you recognize the names to them. You do see one that like you don't really recognize. It's called the Encounter Group, but you don't. It's the only one that kind of cock your head out a little bit. Like you're like, I've never heard of that before.
I'll ask her about it.
Oh yeah, they're they're a support group for people who are dealing with anxiety, stress, those type of things. We have a lot of different groups that we don't necessarily officially work with them, but we certainly encourage anybody who's leaving from the first floor to continue to seek treatment. If not, official outpatient treatment through us, then certainly more informal, or I should say, these types of support groups. Some of them are cheaper after staying here. Sometimes people don't want to come back. That's just perfectly understandable. It is a psychiatric facility. We look like a prison. Let's be honest, right? You can tell she's starting to warm up again. She's kind of being nice once more. But yeah, you could take one of those if you want. So she just kind of pulls like out of the sleeve, and she like starts pulling all of them. She's like, here you go. If you think these are going to help at all. But none of the patients on the third floor would have been able to. They're not allowed down here. They take their meals. We do any sort of the minimal amount of group therapy we do for third floor patients. We do on the third floor. They take their meals up there. They have some TV time in the common room, but usually we don't do big groups of them. Second floor and first floor patients only. Oh, I just went big.
Okay. And I'll look over to Vessel to see what he was looking at.
Hey, Basil. Thank you for hanging out. There's still time. Nothing like blowing up a building to end a chapter. Lots of fun. Okay. Anything else you guys want to do here?
I think we got the gist of it.
Okay.
The only major things probably like coming back at night.
Okay. Do you ask her about that?
Yeah, we can set up something like that.
And she's like, ooh, they usually, lockdown's pretty early. There's not much of a nightlife here, unfortunately. We have a smaller crew, obviously, smaller staff. Most those on the third floor and some people on the second floor are under sedatives. Really, once the sun goes down, everyone's in their rooms and sleeping. we would rather not a disruption to that schedule. You can try speaking with Dr. Dallin again about that, but I don't have the authority to allow you to visit outside of visiting hours, and visiting hours do end at 6, and it actually is 6 o'clock now. So,
Perfect. You've been a great help. If you can just lead us out of here, then.
of course. And again, if there's anything we can do, let me know. Esther, my name's Esther. You don't have to, stand on ceremony. Agents.
Thank you, Esther.
And you have Dr. Dallin's contact information. If you want to speak with me directly, you can call the main desk, and they'll forward to me. And yeah, so she leads you to the desk, and she sort of waits there as Gail Houston, the kind of blonde woman who led you guys up to begin with, she brings you over to the locker. She gets your stuff. You do the exchange. And as you're leaving, you guys notice that there's like a couple people that are kind of lingering around outside. You can see like there's Michael Devon, the guy that you spoke with back in the security room. You can see that there's like one of the orderly, the guy with the bag, and they're kind of talking a bit here and there. And the guy with the bag looks over at you two when you come out of the building. You can hear the door like very firmly lock behind you. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, your friend, the other guy, the pale one, he left. He said, call him if you need a ride or something.
Oh, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait outside the gates by the front, by the security.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, you want to ride up front? I can give you a ride up front if you want to hop in the truck.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, come on. And so like he's got this like F-150, and so it's because it's like a long winding drive. And so yeah, he leads you guys up. You get a wave from Mike Devon.
Is it like an extended cab, or am I squished here in the middle?
We'll say it's the extended cab. Like you and Vessel and him are up front. You're in the back with his big old gym bag that's just kind of sitting right next to him. Sitting right next to you, just sitting there the whole time. He pulls up, the gates open, he kind of gives a wave to the security guy, gates closed behind. And you, Vessel, you get out at this point, and like he kind of gets out with you, and he's like, hey, do you lift, bro? Like you know.
Yeah, I work out. What about you?
Every day, once in the morning, once at night, sometimes I do a couple extra sets on the weekends. You got to stay fit, you got to keep it tight, for the ladies, you know what I'm saying? You married? You kind of old. And like, he's kind of like bullshitting with you. Fawn, you're struggling to get out of the back because like Vessel just closes the door like an asshole. And so like, you're kind of like stuck behind, like he's got to hold it open. And as you're sitting here, you hear, hello? Hello? Are you there? Coming from the bag sitting next to you. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Shit.
God damn it.
Oh, heck?
Alrighty then.
We're going to have like 4 different investigations like separately going on. I think that's where we're headed.
You guys really like to take the incredibly difficult... I love Impossible Landscapes and I love Delta Degree. It is a challenging game and even more challenging like campaign to run, but it's totally worth it. Like I prep more for this game than I do for all my others combined. But I love it because I love this game. It's pretty amazing. Impossible Landscapes
like, hey,
is
Jeff,
insane.
How can we make this more difficult on you? 4 separate mini campaigns in this game.
I like it. It's fun. I am an advocate, and I'm not even saying this sarcastically. I'm a huge advocate of splitting the party because I think it just like it makes sense. Like it's kind of metagaming not to sometimes, and like obviously like if you're doing like a dungeon crawl or whatever, like a fantasy dungeon crawl, you don't want to split the party there. Like you're staying together, et cetera. But in a game like this, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense to split up. Yeah. Oh man.
Alum's trying to hack the locks in the building.
Thank you. When Can We Play? We really appreciate it. Love hated it. I will take that as a compliment. Definitely. It's, I don't know. It's supposed to, I kind of feel like it's supposed to make you feel kind of tense. The whole, like it's getting tenser and tenser. Just like you're waiting for that other shoe to drop. Oh man. But yeah, it just makes sense in a game like this. You just split the party and everyone kind of just goes and sort of takes a different thread and look into it. I would say just for my sanity, it's usually helpful if it's like 2 and 2 as opposed to like, you know,
Yes.
1, 1, 1 and 1. Just in
We
those
did start
regards.
out as 2 and 2.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We did. We had like a group of 3, had a group of 1. You know, it wasn't, you know, kind of worked out the way it did. You know, there's some weird things that happen. You guys failed some rolls tonight, so make sure you do. So we don't really
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about this too much. A lot of the stuff, like a lot of the bookkeeping stuff we do off air, but like if you're new to Delta Green and you're watching this for the first time, one of the cool things in Delta Green is
Wow.
that there's a whole mess load of skills. And like some of the people that you see on the screen, like they're really good at certain things or not really good at the others. Like Melissa, for instance, her character Fawn, not very good at searching, but good at many other things like history and whatnot. And then others might be very good at searching, or in the case of Vessel, like he is like alert like a hawk, like danger. He's literally got a spidey
spider
sense.
sense.
Yeah, exactly. So when you fail a roll, like you actually get to put a little check mark by it, and then at the end of the session, you get to roll. I think it's a D4. It's D4, right? I know I think there was like a. They might have
D4.
changed that recently, and you increase your skill by that amount. But it's only if you fail, which is really cool because it means like even if you fail a roll and you don't really get what you want out of it, you're still getting a benefit towards the end, and it allows you to like. I like it too because it makes it feel like your failures are like improving, you know, what you do, and I think that's true. Like I think
It's
we learned
failing
from
up
failure.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got a 4 and a 3 this time, so that's pretty good.
I got double ones.
Got double
Snake
ones.
eyes.
Oh.
God damn it.
All right, let's see. Let's just close this down. So thank you for everyone who hung out and watched. Thank you for a couple folks who gave us bitch told Twitch. I saw you throw out some bits for us. If you're still here, thank you. I saw some new faces, new names tonight. Definitely appreciate you coming and checking us out live. If you are watching us on VOD or if you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for thinking of us there. Try to come catch us live sometime. Twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers. We tend to stream games on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Friday is our Delta Green night. Saturdays, we've been playing Worlds Without Number, which is kind of like a science fantasy adventure game. A little bit of like Gamma World, a little bit like post-apocalyptic, little bit like straight up fantasy. Little mix of all that. And then Mondays, we are alternating between Things from the Flood from Free League Games and Alien. We're starting up a new chapter to an ongoing Alien campaign. Each chapter is a great place to jump into our Alien campaign. That starts on the 28th. So if you haven't watched any of our Alien stuff, that's a great time to jump in. And we also will have a new game coming very soon over the summer to take place of Things from the Flood, which we're winding down. We're getting close to the end of that weird story that we've been telling. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw us in the end screen. We're gonna go ahead and do a raid, see which of our friends are up right now. I'm not really sure who's actually on tonight. I think the defenders are playing, right?
Are up.
So we'll go ahead and give that a start. Give them a raid. A little keep the fun ttrpg train going. Thank you all the players for bearing with my nonsense. Sorry, Ashley, and your future mental health bills that you're clearly going to be very high. So good night, everybody.